Imagine stepping onto a plane, finding your seat, and looking toward the cockpit, only to realize there's no one there. No captain, no co-pilot, just screens and blinking lights, controlled entirely by artificial intelligence. Would you feel safe? It might sound like something out of a sci-fi movie, but the idea of fully autonomous planes is getting closer to reality than most people think. Autonomous flight technology is already advancing at an incredible pace. Many modern aircraft can take off, navigate, and land with minimal human input, thanks to autopilot systems that have been in place for decades. But removing human pilots entirely is another challenge. After all, flying a plane isn't just about following a programmed route, it's about making quick decisions in emergencies, adapting to unpredictable weather, and handling the unexpected. Can AI really take over all of that responsibility? We're already seeing major steps toward this future. Self-driving cars, once considered an impossible dream, are now navigating city streets with surprising accuracy. Drones, both military and commercial, are flying complex missions without any human on board. If we trust AI to drive our cars, why not let it fly our planes? The truth is, the technology is progressing rapidly, but public trust is another story. Would passengers be willing to board a flight with no human pilot? Would airlines and regulators feel comfortable putting lives in the hands of machines? It's a big question, and the answer isn't as simple as yes or no. But one thing is clear. The future of aviation is changing, and the role of pilots may never be the same again. Most people don't realize it, but when you board a commercial flight today, chances are the autopilot is doing most of the flying. In fact, over 90% of the time, pilots rely on automated systems to handle everything from cruising to navigation. So if planes are already so reliant on automation, what's stopping us from letting AI take full control? The answer lies in the difference between traditional autopilot and true AI pilots. Autopilot is like cruise control for airplanes. It can maintain altitude, follow a set route, and even assist with landing. But it still needs human oversight. AI pilots, on the other hand, go much further. They don't just follow pre-programmed instructions. They use machine learning, real-time data, and advanced sensors to make their own decisions, just like a human pilot would. These systems analyze weather patterns, detect potential hazards, and even respond to emergencies, all without human input. The real magic happens in how AI pilots learn. They don't just rely on pre-written code. They improve over time by studying millions of flight simulations, past aviation incidents, and real-world flight data. Companies developing this technology feed AI systems massive amounts of information, everything from turbulence patterns to emergency landings, so they can predict and react to situations more efficiently than humans ever could. Imagine an AI that has experienced thousands of emergency scenarios before ever taking control of a real plane. That kind of preparation is impossible for human pilots, who may only face a handful of real emergencies in their entire careers. But can AI pilots truly outperform humans in every situation? That's the ultimate question. While the technology is advancing at an incredible rate, proving its reliability will take years of testing, real-world applications, and most importantly, public trust. Would you feel safer knowing an AI is in control? Or does the thought of a pilotless cockpit still make you uneasy? The idea of pilotless planes isn't just a futuristic concept. It's already being tested in the real world. Major aerospace giants like Boeing and Airbus, along with several ambitious startups, are actively developing and refining AI-driven flight systems. In fact, test flights of autonomous aircraft have already taken place, proving that planes can take off, navigate, and land without a human at the controls. But how close are we to seeing these systems in everyday commercial flights? Boeing has been working on autonomous technology for years, with successful tests of AI-powered co-pilot systems that could eventually replace human pilots. Airbus, on the other hand, has taken things a step further with its Project Dragonfly, where AI successfully handled taxiing, takeoff, and landing without pilot input. Meanwhile, smaller companies like X-Wing and Reliable Robotics have been testing fully automated cargo planes, proving that AI can safely operate aircraft in controlled environments. These early successes suggest that a pilotless future isn't just possible, it's inevitable. But beyond technology, there's another major reason airlines are interested in autonomous planes: money. The airline industry operates on razor-thin profit margins, and pilot salaries are one of the biggest costs. Eliminating or even reducing the number of pilots on board could save airlines billions of dollars each year. Fewer pilots mean fewer training costs, fewer salaries, and fewer expenses related to pilot fatigue and scheduling. From a business perspective, it's an incredibly tempting opportunity. So, if AI-driven planes could save airlines billions, what's stopping them? The answer is a mix of safety regulations, public trust, and sheer inertia. Changing the way we fly isn't just about proving AI works, it's about convincing passengers, pilots, and regulators that it's safe. And for now, that might be the biggest challenge of all. Would you feel comfortable stepping onto a plane where no one is in the cockpit? Or does the thought still seem too risky? When it comes to air travel, safety is everything. And here's a shocking truth. Human error is responsible for 70–80% of all plane crashes. Pilots, despite their extensive training and experience, can make mistakes. They get tired, stressed, distracted, and sometimes even overconfident. AI, on the other hand, doesn't suffer from fatigue or emotions. It doesn't get drowsy on long-haul flights, misinterpret instructions, or make snap decisions under pressure. But does that mean AI pilots would actually be safer than humans? In theory, AI could eliminate many of the risks that come with human error. Advanced algorithms can analyze vast amounts of data in milliseconds, predict potential dangers, and respond with precision. AI has already proven itself in simulations, successfully landing planes without human intervention. It can recognize engine failures, navigate extreme weather, and even adjust to sudden system malfunctions, sometimes faster than a human pilot ever could. But theory and reality are two different things, and that's where the debate begins. Emergencies in the air aren't always predictable. While AI can be trained on millions of past flight scenarios, what happens when something completely new occurs? A human pilot can think creatively, improvise, and use intuition, something AI still struggles with. Imagine a mid-air crisis, like the famous Miracle on the Hudson, where Captain Sully Sullenberger made the split-second decision to land his disabled plane on the Hudson River, saving everyone on board. Could an AI have done the same? Or would it have followed its programmed logic and made a different, potentially fatal decision? The technology is improving every day, but trust is another challenge. Would passengers feel safer knowing a machine is in control? Or does the idea of a human pilot at the helm still bring more reassurance? The truth is, AI may one day surpass human pilots in safety, but the transition won't be easy. The real question is, how much are we willing to trust a machine with our lives? Imagine boarding a plane, fastening your seatbelt, and hearing the usual announcement. Except this time, there's no mention of a captain or co-pilot. Instead, a calm, synthetic voice assures you that the entire flight will be handled by AI. Would you feel comfortable? Or would that uneasy feeling in the pit of your stomach make you want to turn around and walk off the plane? The biggest challenge facing pilotless planes isn't the technology, it's public trust. Studies show that most passengers are still uneasy about the idea of flying without a human pilot. It's not just about logic, it's about psychology. We've grown up with the image of experienced pilots handling our flights, trained professionals who can reassure us during turbulence and make life-or-death decisions if something goes wrong. Replacing them with AI, no matter how advanced, feels unnatural to many people. That's why airlines aren't likely to make a sudden switch. Instead, they'll introduce hybrid models, flights where AI handles most of the operation, but a human pilot is still on board as a backup. This gradual transition would help ease public fears while allowing AI systems to prove their reliability. Over time, as people grow more comfortable, we may see fewer pilots in the cockpit, until eventually they're gone altogether. But would that make you feel safer? Or would you always want a human at the controls, just in case? AI may be incredibly advanced, but at the end of the day, trust is about more than just data. It's about how we feel. So, the real question is, could you ever trust a machine with your life at 35,000 feet? If an AI-controlled plane were to crash, who would take the blame? The airline that operated the flight? The company that built the AI? The engineers who programmed it? Or would we simply have to accept that sometimes machines fail, just like humans do? These are the kinds of legal and ethical questions that make the idea of fully autonomous planes much more complicated than just the technology itself. Right now, even self-driving cars are facing massive legal debates. When an autonomous vehicle is involved in an accident, lawsuits can drag on for years as courts try to determine who's responsible: the car's owner, the manufacturer, or the software developer. Now, imagine the stakes when it's a commercial airplane carrying hundreds of passengers. If an AI pilot makes a fatal decision, can it really be held accountable? Unlike a human pilot, it can't be fired, suspended, or sent to court. This raises serious concerns about how responsibility would be assigned in the event of an accident. Beyond legal issues, there's also the ethical dilemma of AI making life-or-death decisions. Human pilots are trained to prioritize passenger safety above all else, sometimes even breaking standard procedures to save lives. But how would an AI respond to a no-win situation? If a crash were unavoidable, would it try to minimize passenger casualties? Would it prioritize people on the ground? How do you program morality into a machine? These are the kinds of questions that regulators and ethicists are struggling to answer. And then there's the government. Even if the technology is ready, would authorities ever allow fully autonomous planes? Aviation is one of the most heavily regulated industries in the world, and convincing regulators to approve pilotless flights won't be easy. Governments will need to see overwhelming proof that AI is not just as safe as human pilots, but significantly safer. Until then, AI pilots may remain a futuristic dream, held back not by what they can do, but by what society is willing to accept. So, when will we see fully autonomous planes take over? Are we just a few years away, or is this still a far-off dream? Experts have mixed opinions. Some predict that within the next decade, we'll see cargo planes flying without pilots, followed by small regional passenger aircraft. Others believe it could take 30 to 50 years before major airlines phase out human pilots entirely. The technology is advancing rapidly, but trust, regulation, and public perception will take much longer to catch up. One thing is certain: the military is already leading the way. Drones have been flying combat missions without pilots for years, proving that autonomous flight is not just possible, it's effective. If unmanned aircraft can operate in war zones, why wouldn't they be safe enough? For commercial travel? The difference, of course, is that military drones don't carry passengers, And that changes everything. So the real question isn't just when we'll see pilotless planes, it's if we're truly ready for them. Would you board a flight knowing no human is in control? Would you feel safer? Or does the idea still seem too risky? The future of aviation is changing, and one day, human pilots might become a thing of the past. But for now, as long as passengers still trust people more than machines, it's clear that pilots won't be disappearing from our cockpits just yet. The future is coming, but are we ready to let go of human pilots forever? Let us know what you think in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the future of aviation, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more fascinating explorations into the world of technology. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.